What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Second City Sports Talk. I'm Keaton here with Papa Bear. The 2021 season is just a week away. We're finally going to get to see the Bears in action. So I think it's time we make some predictions. I think there's a lot of uncertainty about this Bears team. And even as a hopeful Bears fan, there's no way of knowing, what this team's going to be like. Especially, the main question obviously being when, if at all, is Justin Fields going to be playing?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about the Bears at the end of the season, and then the offseason came, and here we are with some kind of interesting excitement. I remember the excitement that we had from the draft, but Andy Dalton's probably going to be the starter. That's what they keep saying.
And that's the problem right now.
Team.
Yeah, we have no idea what Nagy's plan is.
Exactly.
He says that it's going to be similar to Kansas City and his plan with how they developed Patrick Mahomes.
It would work.
And if that's the case, then Justin Fields is not going to play at all this season. Sure.
But
we have no idea. So, it's very hard.
It's tough. It's going to be a tough season. You were talking about predictions. Let's talk about what our predictions are for the.
We got a tough schedule. I remember. And obviously, teams have changed, but if you look at just the records of the teams that we're facing this year that they had last year, we have one of the toughest schedules in the entire NFL.
It looks pretty tough to me. There's some games in there I think we can win, but as a Bears fan, I always tend to be a little sort of Mr. Positive. I've always kind of been that way. And so I try to find little silver linings in there. I really want us to beat the Packers. I really want us to beat the Vikings both games. I don't think that's always going to happen. But there's something about this season for me, in my prediction that's an excitement for it. So, yeah, what do you think?
I think we have to start with week one, which is against the Rams. It's Sunday Night Football. I think it's going to be sloppy. Week one, usually the Bears have a history of not, looking too good on week one. Yep. They often, just completely just throw the game, So I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think the Rams are even a little bit underrated this year because I think Matthew Stafford's always been underrated. I think they're a better team with Stafford.
So you think that's a loss, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a loss because they have one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah. It's just going to be tough. Yeah. So I think we start the season 0-1. Then we go to Cincinnati.
Okay.
And
that's doable.
Cincinnati's an up and coming team, but they don't have the pieces.
Yeah. They look kind of lost. They have for the last couple of years.
Joe Burrow, they just don't have the offensive line. Yeah. I think that's going to be a win for the Bears. So I think 1-1.
Yeah. Okay.
We head to Cleveland. And I think that's another loss. I think
the Browns look good. Yeah, they've been looking good recently. Years past, you would have thought that was a win.
Yeah, and I think this is the first game where, Matt Nagy could think about putting Justin Fields in, especially if Andy Dalton struggles against this kind of defense. Yeah. We have a couple of, I'd say, the last two easier games before the toughest stretch of our schedule. We go to the Lions. The Lions should be a win. They should always be a win. They're the doormat of the NFC North. And I'm sorry, Lions fans, it's true. Yeah. Jared Goff was a downgrade. Your team didn't really get any better. Yeah. You picked up an O-lineman, but there's 5 guys on your O-line. So I don't know how much one is going to help.
Sure.
So I think we're going to start 2-2. And then we go to Las Vegas. We play the Raiders. I think this is going to be a pivotal game. If we lose this game, there's no way we make the playoffs. I think, in my opinion, I think we're going to win this game. Okay. I think it's going to be a close game. Okay. Derek Carr still underrated, but yeah, I think that's a game that
we're going
we can
3-2 or 3-2.
3-2, and then we hit the rough patch for our schedule. We play the Packers, Bucks, Niners, Steelers, Ravens. We play a bunch of really good teams.
Yeah.
I give us one win out of those teams.
So that's like before the bye week, essentially. What's our record going into the bye week, you think?
I think we lose to the Packers because it's the Packers. The Buccaneers are just simply too good. We beat them last year, but that was before they were, playing at their best. Sure. And then I think we can beat the Steelers. And I know that's going to shock some people.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think I like that matchup, I'd say. Yeah. I'd say the Steelers, they're in, they got old Ben.
Yeah.
Old Ben now. And they just don't scare me.
That's the game right before the bye too, isn't it? So you could see that, and if we lose that game again, that's one of the winnable games. I think
this is the kind of week, another week where I definitely think that we could see Justin Fields.
Sure, yeah.
I think there's various points throughout the season where Justin Fields could be put in play. And I think right before the Steelers, we play the Niners, and I think we're going to lose to the Niners, and I think that's going to be the game that tells Matt Nagy that it's time for Justin Fields. A loss to the Niners, and then I think he's going to be in for the Steelers. I think he gives us that spark.
So at the bye, we're like 3-6 maybe. Or
4-5.
4-5. Okay, all right. And then we get this bye week. It's right in the middle of the season. That's not a bad thing to have a bye right there. Actually, it's better than some of the other bye weeks. And it's a longer season. It's
17-game season.
Yeah, it's an extra game this season. Now we come out of that bye week, and let's say we are down like that. How's the rest of the year looking then?
I mean, I think the second half of the year definitely going to be easier.
Okay.
Because we play the Ravens next. I think that's a tough game. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to run circles around us. I like our defense, but they're not the same in my opinion as 2018. So I think they're still a top 10 unit, but not enough to contain Lamar Jackson, that kind of explosiveness.
Ravens always a bit tough games.
So I think Ravens, that's a loss. Then we go to the Lions, and I always give us the games against the Lions. I think the Lions, for already explained reasons, they're just not a tough team. Yeah. And then we go to the Cardinals, and I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I think Justin Fields is going to be in. Justin Fields versus Kyler Murray. Yeah. Two, in my opinion, pretty similar quarterbacks as far as their style of play goes. Yeah. I think it's going to be back and forth.
I think we win this game.
We win.
I think we got to beat the Cardinals. Anytime we play a team named the Cardinals, we got to win. So because the Cubs,
but yeah. I think we're going to beat the Cardinals, and I think we're going to go 6-6. I think we're going to have a chance at the playoffs, and then I think we draw back-to-back games. I think we play the Packers again, and that's the Packers, man.
If I could give one, like I probably said this last year in our videos, man, I could give anything for a couple of Packers wins, man. I just love that. So I'd take a losing season and 2 Packers wins, and I would do that. But I think a lot of Bears fans would, especially this season. So
it would be nice if we could ruin the Packers season, like where they're cruising along, then we beat them, and then that just. They go downhill from there.
Here's the other thing that I'd love to see. So here we're at the end of the season. We got the Vikings the last game of the season. I would love especially if we're not going to make the playoffs and the Vikings are maybe at that teeter-totter game. I would love to stick it to them, and beat them so they don't make the playoffs. That's for you. That's for my brother. That's for him. So by end of the season,
I think we lose back-to-back games. Packers, Vikings. I always think with the Vikings, we usually go 1-1 with them again in the series because. I think for the past 2 years, we've been very similar teams as far as, skill wise.
Yeah, we'll be second and third place, all the year long. And
that's kind of how it's been.
Unless we're awesome, and then we'll be in first place.
I think we lose this, and we're 6-8, and we're pretty much out of the playoffs at that point. Yeah. And then I think, Bears fans are feeling down, and this is where I think we win the last 3 games of the season.
Okay, that'd be great.
I think, who do we play next? We play the Seahawks.
You got the Seahawks.
And I think we upset the Seahawks because I think that's just, I don't know. That's just the biasness in me, but I think we're going to beat the Seahawks. I don't like the Giants. I think the Giants are not going to be a good team. I think we beat the Giants. And I think, we're 8-8 and we push for that winning record. Okay. Justin Fields has himself a game, last game of the week. We finish 9-8. We don't make the playoffs, but I think there's a lot of hope for the next year.
Let's talk a little bit about what it looks like. The worst record possible, best record possible, and where we look like we're on paper, really. You look at the schedule.
So, I'd say if we, look at all the games, we take all the games that we should win and all the games that we should lose, I think that evens out to around 7-10.
Yeah.
And that's,
if you just
I obviously give us a 9-8 record, but I'm a Bears fan. So
we win a couple extra games.
So I give us 2 extra wins. Yeah. I think on paper, we're a 7-10 team.
Yeah, I think so.
And, I don't think that's the worst thing because I feel like this year is not our year.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of expectations for us to do awesome, unless Justin Fields comes in, unless there's some, the defense really picks it up. I think this is that season where Nagy got his job, kept his job, and here's the chance for him to at least do good enough to be 7-10 at the end of the year. We'll see if that.
I don't know if that's enough to keep him.
Probably not.
But I think, a lot of Bears fans the entire season is determined by when Justin Fields is put in. I don't think it's that straightforward. I think there's a lot of other factors. Justin Fields, he's a rookie QB. Yeah. You can't always expect everything from a rookie. I know there's some rookies that just come onto the scene and they just ball out immediately. But I think, that's very rare.
Well, if you look at the schedule and you go, we're going to be 7-10 on paper, and you look at it again and you go, okay, there's some real tough games in there. We're going to lose a couple of those. There's a real good chance we're going to go 5-12 too. That's probably our low game for the season. We're going to, beat the Giants. We're going to beat the Lions. We're going to beat the Bengals. We're going to beat the Vikings, and we're going to probably win one other game. That's like our low, low ceiling.
And I think if Bears fans are going to hear that and they're going to be like, man, this sucks. Like, why, we won just, we went to the playoffs. We were great just in 2018. Yeah. But I think we need to look, I often think about the Bills. The Bills, went to the playoffs in 2018, lost in the wild card game. They reworked their entire team. They were not good in 2019. They were a really bad team. But they got Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, he wasn't great immediately either. Yeah. But they look at them now. Yeah. They're one of the best teams in the league in just a few years. And I think that's how the Bears, they could follow in that same kind of path with how this team is a very mediocre team, reworked, and becomes a perennial contender.
Okay, so that's the low bar for the year, 5-12. What's the high bar? What is the absolute best record that we could get this year?
I think realistically, and this is if everything goes our way, if we pull off a couple upsets, I think we're going to have to beat the Packers once. Yep. At least I think we're going to have to do really well in our division. I think we're probably going to have to beat the Vikings twice, Lions twice. I give us 11-6. I think that's the realistic, best possible scenario.
But who do we lose to? Like the games that we just cannot win, what are those games?
I mean, I'd say the Buccaneers are the obvious choice. I think we can't beat the Packers twice. We're just not going to do that.
Because we've never done that.
Because we've never done that in so long.
Maybe 85.
I'd say the Rams. I'm really high on the Rams this season. Yep. I think I'm rating them higher than a lot of people are. Yeah. Rams. I think the Ravens are going to be a tough matchup. Yeah. I think the Browns are going to be a handful. Yeah. And I'd say, either the Seahawks or we lose once to the Vikings. I'd say. That's what I would say. I think we're going to have to beat the Cardinals. I think we're going to have to beat the Steelers. Yeah. So you get and all those other teams.
6 losses to teams that you're probably supposed to lose to, especially where the Bears are at this point in their
and those are the losses that, in my opinion, no matter what happens in the season, we're going to lose to those teams.
We're gonna lose 6 games this year.
I don't see us
we're not going 12-5 or 13. No. I mean, if we do, we will eat our words later, and we'll be happy to eat our words. But there's not many people are predicting that. I mean, no matter how hyped you are about Justin Fields, he's not starting, and who knows when he's going to come in. Even if he doesn't come in at all, like the Chiefs, you said, they didn't bring in Patrick Mahomes the entire first year. So this is quite an interesting year for us. I'm excited. I'm excited for this year. Do you think we're gonna make the playoffs this year? I know you said earlier you didn't think so.
I don't think.
9-8's not going to get us to the playoffs. That's what you're saying?
No, because I think the Packers have this division locked up. Aaron Rodgers is still there for at least one more year. Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is just a barrier for us and the division title. The one 2018 when we did win the division, Aaron Rodgers just wasn't himself, and he was injured for like half the year too. Yeah. So
if cards fall the right way, maybe we end up 10-7, and then there's a good chance that we can fall into the playoffs. But do you want to be in the playoffs this year? I mean, is this the year that we're thinking let's get to the playoffs? Or is this another one of those years where it's
for me as a Bears fan, I think
just to be disappointed. Yeah.
For me, I don't have expectations of making the playoffs. Yeah. And I'm happy that I don't, because
then you'd be down.
Then I won't be disappointed. So for me, I just want to watch and see how this the season plays out because I think this isn't the most important season. Yeah. For the future of the franchise.
Yeah, and I think part of that is everyone's kind of hoping for Fields to come in, and so this year is just a kind of a tryout.
I think this is really a trial season.
We're
gonna have to see what happens. Things could go really well, or they could go down.
Like a tank.
hill pretty quickly.
Let's hope injuries aren't a big thing, and hope that we stay healthy, keep everybody in a good spirits, and hopefully you as a Bears fan are thinking good thoughts. But keep
happy thoughts throughout the season.
Unfortunately, we had to watch the Cubs tank it this year, but we're all excited for the Bears now. All right, well, that's it for this week. Make sure you like and subscribe and let us know in the comments below what you think about the Bears schedule.
Yep, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.